Dan Radiostyle. Hope everybody out there is having themselves a great day, as always. Calling this one Trying to Force Our Path. It's kind of funny how this one actually came about. The song we just played was Erasure. That was Blue Savannah. Very, very pretty song. And I actually went and saw them my first year in college, I want to say. Second year maybe, whichever. But yeah, that was quite an event. It was up in Hollywood, and whoo, my goodness, it was crazy. Anywho. How did this one come about? This is where it's funny, is I was going to try to force a different show. There was a different show I wanted to do, and I went and recorded it once yesterday. I got through, 98% of it, and I was looking up at the camera like I often do to see what the time was, and I noticed it wasn't recording. And then it turns off, and there's a period of time where that occurs. And so I was like, what? So how long? What? Did I start recording it? Because I had the audio going. So I stop it, and then I realized that it recorded about 10 seconds and stopped. It's like, whatever. So I was a little frustrated and said, screw it, I'm not doing the show again. It's just, they're kind of live. It's weird, and I was already did a pretty good show, I thought, I was sort of bummed. So yeah, and then I just said, okay, whatever. Well, oddly, yesterday morning I was talking to this guy at work that comes into the coffee shop in the morning, and him and I actually put together a seminar. So he's someone I've got a really cool spiritual kind of connection with. And he was telling me about his difficulties in trying to buy this new Apple computer. He'd gone at 4 different attempts, had tried to get this thing. Like once he tried to call it in, and the credit card was denied because of fraud, because he was actually in like Chicago or something like that, and he lives out here. So they basically called it fraud. So when his wife went to go pick it up, there was a fraud. The charge didn't work. He came back out, tried to go in person, and tried to buy the thing, but it was with the credit card that the fraud had happened on, so he couldn't get it. Tried to go to another place, literally out of stock. Tried to go to another place. They said they had one. They could not find it. They supposedly had one in stock, could not find it anywhere in the store. So I was talking to him, and I'm like, well, that's really weird. What is it about yourself that you're kind of resisting on it? And he goes, it's 3.5 years old. The computer I have's fine. He goes, there's nothing wrong with it. And I think the other part of it was it was just, he was going to spend some money and didn't really want to. His company was willing to give $1,500 towards it, which is a lot, which is awesome. So he's just like, meh. And, when I talked to him about it, he goes, you're right. I don't really need it. I don't really need it. So he walks away, comes in this morning where I'm working, and he basically tells me he bought the computer. And his whole thing was just coming to terms with the fact that his company was giving him $1,500. And when he finally just accepted the flow of the path, everything opened up, because he went into a place he'd already been. They had the computer, and they had all these extra goodies for free. He ended up saving like $500 on a bunch of other stuff. So the universe rewarded him. So that was kind of cool. I'm like, that's a great example of just kind of, not forcing the flow, but sort of going with it. And then I come home this morning, and I attempt to do the same show that I did yesterday, and didn't have any camera issues so much, other than the fact that my camera had no power. That's actually why it died. But when I started doing the show, it just wasn't working. It wasn't flowing. I got about halfway through it, and I'm like, I don't even want to talk about this. And I literally just stopped in the middle of it and just wasn't feeling it. Didn't feel good. Didn't feel right. And I said, screw it, I'm not. And literally went to the gym, and I was working out, and I thought about it. I'm like, well, I should seriously just do the show on, this is an awesome example of trying to force something, when in reality, all you needed to do was step back for a couple minutes and just let things sort of flow and happen. And I'll tell you the truth, when it comes to doing these YouTube things frequently, a lot of times it is just like what comes to me, because otherwise, if I worry or lament about what I'm going to do another show on, I'll probably never do another one. So a lot of times it's just like, let it come to me. And here was a show where I saw something, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's got a little neat, and I could spin that and make that into, that's a cool topic. And it was more of a forced kind of thing, not as real as, sometimes they're, the same way. They're shows ideas come in a number of ways. But again, I thought this one kind of worked well. It was something I was demonstrating. And then on top of that, I had another guy sharing the same story with me. So something that's probably a little bit common for a lot of people out there. So again, sometimes just getting out of our own way. Try not to force the direction you think things should go. He should do certain things. He should text me. He should reach out. Or she should whatever. Don't should yourself so much to the place of your manifestation, rather than allow things to happen and see. That's why a lot of people say you're along for the ride. See what happens. It's pretty cool when you do. You end up enjoying certain things. You have experiences that you never would have imagined. Let it go. Let it be. Universe will get you there. Let it happen. And if we just can get out of our own way and stop trying to force the way things should play out, they may happen in a weird order relative to you, but maybe things just kind of need to line up first before everything's ready to go. Who knows? There's always complexities to it. It's Dan Radiostyle. Hope everybody out there enjoys what we're doing here. And the funny part is when we're coming in the show, I honestly have no idea what the next song is. I'm going to cheat for a second. Let me see if I can do this. We'll see if I... Oh, okay, that's right. Lay Your Hands on Me, Bon Jovi. Totally forgot what song we were doing. So it was Lay Your Hands on Me, Bon Jovi. That's what we're going out with. If you'd like to contact me, feel free to do so at danradiostyle@gmail.com. And again, just, the whole forcing thing. I think it's a good reminder. Anywho, thanks for joining me. We'll be doing some more shows.